Good afternoon, friends. This is the first lesson in our new unit, Expressions and Equations. So what exactly is an expression? And what is an equation? Well, if we look down here, we will see that an expression might be something like 4x plus 2. An equation, 4x plus 2 equals 100. So what is the difference? It's this guy, the equal sign. So an expression uses variables, constants, letters, numbers. You see here, algebraic expression such as n minus 2 is an expression that contains variables, numbers, and at least one operation. Like this, your operation here is addition. A variable is a symbol that represents an unknown quantity. You might see a lot of x. X is a great variable. However, so is y, z, b. Any letter can be a variable. The word variable means to vary. So variable varies from expression to expression. So x in one expression might mean 3, but in another, x might be 5 or 9 or 3 million. So a variable varies from expression to expression. All right, so what am I going to do with these? Well, I have different parts of these variable expressions. A coefficient. Co means to work with. So the coefficient 7 works with the variable n. When they are right next to each other, the operation is to multiply. Anything that is right next to each other with no space in between means to multiply. So 7 times whatever n is. A constant is a number just by itself. The operation is, of course, the add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And the variable is the letter that stands for a number. A couple different examples. 6 times d. Notice they are right next to each other. It means to multiply. 9 times s times t. Once again, they are all three right next to each other as well. M times n, the value of m times the value of n. And a to the third power might be something like a times a times a. Let's say that a equals 2. That simply means 2 times 2 times 2, or 8. All right, so coefficient 6 is the coefficient here. It works with the variable d, and they get multiplied by each other. All right, so on example number 1, we would evaluate. Remember, the word evaluate means to solve. So evaluate 2 right next to n plus 3 if n equals -4. So wherever you see an n, you're going to put in a -4. So 2 n, let's put in the -4, plus 3. 2 things inside of my parentheses here, 2 terms. And so I have a -4 plus 3. Same signs mean that I add and keep. Unfortunately, these are different signs. It means I subtract, and I'm going to get a -1 inside the parentheses right next to 2. If it is right next to it, the operation is multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. A negative times a positive is a negative answer. My answer is a -2. All right, let's see how this looks here. It says to evaluate, remember evaluate means to solve, 8 times w minus 2 times v. I know they are times because they are right next to each other. So if w is 5, I might put the 5 like so. If I put them right next to each other without parentheses, I might be so inclined to think that it's 85, and that would not be true. Minus 2 times v, which is 3. What is our next step? Right, you are going to multiply 8 times 5 and get 40, minus 2 times 3 and get 6. 40 minus 6 is 34. Okay, question 3. Evaluate 4 y to the third. What is y to the third? 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. So once again, if I put 4 right next to 27, that means to multiply, which is what they intended here. Plus 2. I must make sure that I follow the correct order of operations. I must do my multiplies here. 27 times 4, 28, carry 2. 2 times 4 is 8, 9, 10. And so this is 108 plus 2 equals 110. Folks, you must make sure that you show your work on these. This is very hard to complete these in your head and get the correct answer. All right, so we are going to look down at a couple problems. And we will pause to work on those. Okay, so looking at these next problems, these are simply formulas that are already given to us. And we are going to substitute the amounts that they are given, that have been given to us, into the formula. And the rest we know. So, for example 4, athletic trainers use the formula 3 times 220 minus A, all divided by 5, where A is a person's age, to find their minimum training heart rate. Find Latrina's minimum training heart rate if she is 15 years old. Okay, so let's notice what they did. Had the original formula, 3 times 220 minus A, they substituted 15 and started solving. Parentheses first, 220 minus 15 gives us 205 times 3. 205 times 3 gives us 615. Over 5 means divide by 5. 615 divide by 5. Latrina's minimum heart training rate is 123 beats per minute. So we're going to work on G. To find the area, remember area of a triangle, area is length times width, but a triangle is half. So it says use the formula base times height divided by 2, where B is the base, H is the height. What is the area in square inches of a triangle with a height of 6 and a base of 8? Let's start substituting our formula numbers in. The base is 8, next to the height, which is 6, all over 2. Our first step is to multiply 8 times 6, and we get 48. 48 over 2 means to divide. 48 divided by 2 gives us 24 square inches. And we would write that like so. So the area is 24 square inches. So we also need to write these expressions, and where we will come up with our own variables. It often makes a lot of sense if we can use a variable that makes sense in that problem. So question 5 says, Marissa wants to buy a DVD player that costs $150. She already has saved $25. She plans to save $10 each week. So these are important pieces of the information. It's always good to underline the important parts. Write an expression that represents the total amount of money Marissa has saved in the number of weeks. Okay? So in words, it says her savings of $25 plus, well, there's a key giveaway, $10 each week, but I don't know how many weeks. So it says let W represent the number of weeks, 25 plus 10 times W. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. Okay, so An MP3 player costs $70 and song downloads cost 85 cents each. So let's underline important information. Now, how many times are we going to buy the MP3 player? Well, just once. It says write an expression that it represents the cost of the MP3 player and the X number of downloaded songs. So what do we do with the songs and the MP3 player? Well, we're going to add them together. So are you buying one song? Well, we don't know, do we? Are we buying two songs? No, we don't know. So we're buying X number of songs because we don't know how many songs we are going to buy. But we do know we have one MP3 player plus some songs times 85 cents a song. So it says, then find the total cost if 20 songs are downloaded. Well, where would the 20 go? In place of the X. Very good. So 70 plus 85 times 20. And I'll let you finish that up. Okay, let's look at example 2 and guided practice here. So example 2, we have m equals 2, n equals 6, and p equals a negative 4. In this case, I need n squared, which is 6 squared, plus 5. Solve that problem for me, please. Okay, at this time, you will have several independent practice problems to do, and you will answer these on your Edpuzzle. The expression 5n plus 2 can be used to find the total cost in dollars of bowling, where n is the number of games bowled and 2 represents the shoe rental. So 5 times the number of games bowled plus shoe rental equals how much it's going to cost. But they ask, how much will it cost Vincent to bowl 3 games? So where do games go? In place of n. At this time, solve that problem. Question 1. The 7th grade math classes are going on a field trip. Field trips are so much fun. The field trip will cost $7 per student. Now, we don't know how many students, so we're going to let that be 7 times S. Write an expression to find the cost of the field trip for S students. What is the total cost if 26 students go on the trip? At this time, solve that problem. Question 6. Write an expression to represent the total number of legs on H horses and C chickens. How many legs are there in 5 horses and 6 chickens? Well, horses have 4 legs. So 4 times the number of horses. Plus, chickens have 2 legs. So 2 times the number of chickens. And you will finish solving that problem at this time.